Yeah, and have you ever heard of the whole 2027 theory?
No, I haven't.
So there's a guy who's a former CIA agent, and people always give me shit for saying former, but he fucking calls himself former. So I'm just going off what he said. But he's talking about how our government is basically preparing us for an impending event that's happening towards 2027, and that they only have a really small time frame to get disclosure out before this time, because when it's forced on us, they don't want us to be like completely shocked.
Right.
Now, multiple people too. I don't know if you who know who Stephen Greer is, or have you heard of Stephen Greer?
No.
He talks about that too. How we've been giving we've been given a time frame, and we have to do certain things by this time, or they're gonna force it.
So are we trying to like do good karma? Are we in like do we have to like earn good karma so that this doesn't happen, or is this like an inevitable situation?
To me, it sounds like an inevitable. Like, I was telling him, okay, so for people who don't know, I've had a friend on here plenty of times. His name's Warren. I've told him, I said, hey, I think what's happening is that there, if this is going to be forced, the steps have been leading towards us. Now is it Project Bluebeam where it's fake, or if it's real, who knows? But if it's real, I wonder what it kind of sounds scary, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, but scary to who though? Scary to the people who have been fucking us for centuries, or because I don't think it's scary to us normal people. I
Yeah.
think they're being told like, "Hey, you guys got to do this, or we're just gonna force this shit to happen."
Yeah, man. The thing about these like dated things too is always tough, right? Like the end of the Mayan calendar, the end of like Y2K. So I don't know. I feel like there's got to be like there's got to be like a loophole to this. Like
I kind of found,
what's the specifics that we need done, or like yeah, we'll see what happens.
well, it's around nukes. A lot of it's around nukes.
Oh, okay. So they're saying like
You guys got to
that's
get rid of the nukes,
oh,
and you got to tell
Putin's
your
gonna
people
press the
about. You got
button,
to tell
dude.
your people about us.
Which would kind of like make sense if you pay attention to like world news, like with the whole Russia Ukraine thing, Russia and China like becoming buddy buddy. They're kind of threatening nuclear war on that side if they end up
Like
losing.
Taiwan and all that. Yeah.
So who's to say in the next like few years by 2027 that a war on that eastern side just doesn't completely take off and then they resort to that.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
I've
something has to
heard
slip in and like, hey, we're not about to let you guys fucking,
Destroy this planet.
yeah.
yeah, I've heard, like how Russia is pretty much like a desolate waste of a land. So they don't really have like a way to survive. So that's why they have to invade another country. Like and if they just get like annexed out, and same with China, China doesn't grow a bunch of crops, or like they can't survive on their own. They need exports. They need
Well, and they've been
imports.
talking about like the way that they have their child, the kids there. That
Yeah,
they
and
might not even be a
it's
thing in the
more
next 20,
just
30
it's more
years.
just their survivability, and the way that they can like actually produce off the land. That's why America's so great. Like we have our own gold, oil, like all that. Like we can do everything in house. They can't. They got to move out. They have to move out, and so that's why they're at war. They need to get out of their place because they're not in good standing with other places to where it makes sense. Like they're not making money off of their land. All they got is like what, oil, Russian oil. So they have to, bro. It's like a forced hand. Like if you
Well,
knew, if they were like, hey, everybody in this town is gonna die because of radiation, well, you got to move out and you got to fight for your life in order to
yep.
make that happen. Obviously, that's a little bit more extreme, but essentially, it's like your life is threatened to stay here. Your people are gonna die in 20 years if you don't figure out a way to get them out of here or claim more land. And so it's like a fight or flight situation up there. And so yeah, I could totally see that happening. Like in 4 years, Russia's like, all right, well, we didn't win the war. Like if all my people got to die, everybody
Well,
does
think of the
too.
increase in like UFOs we've been seeing. The UFO Las Vegas incident, the Peru stuff, all the shoot downs that happened earlier this year, all the people like Tom DeLonge, Stephen Greer, the CIA agent, the space chief of Israel, the Canadian defense minister. All these people are coming out, and I tell Warren this all the time because he tries to compare this to Y2K and the Mayan calendar thing.
Okay.
The difference is here's the loophole. The difference is during those times, you did not have high level people saying that the world was going to end in Y2K. Or you didn't have high level people say, okay, so Y2K was a little different because they thought, that technology and the computers that we had wouldn't be able to go into the new century, which would cause problems. You did have people saying that, but for 2012, there wasn't like the Canadian defense minister, like, we're all going to die, right? There was just like rumors. Like now you have like legit, like why would, okay, for instance, like Tom DeLonge, who from Blink 182,
Yeah.
why would people like him or that CIA guy or all these people, why would they put their careers, their reputation, their family safety, their safety? They'd put all of that on the line for a lie. That's what I tell Warren all the time. I said, hey, they might be lying, bro, right? I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. They could be. But all these people, like the space chief of Israel, like all these people that have had the credentials to run countries and be a part of these huge programs, they're just going to put their whole reputation on the line by saying 2027, something's happening.
Right. Yeah.
Because think about when something doesn't happen around that time. They're going to get fucking clowned into an oblivion, dude.
Facts.
Like, this isn't like they're going to be like, well, we messed up. Well, they could, right? They could. But like it's just one of those things where like I think there's something to it, and I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, man. If anything, if like they are lying, or it's a setup for something in the future, like yeah, like I could go back to like that New World Order situation where it's like you cause this mass fear where everybody's expecting the world to end like on a serious note. And you can connect them back to Illuminati this, Illuminati that. But bro, like they could be setting us up, like it's all mental warfare. It's all
Blue beam.
Yeah, blue beam. All of it's, to get you to be scared of the future as well. And so, yeah, they could set it up to where it's like, oh, in 2027, this is where we're going to implement new world government, all digital currency, like shit like that could be serious in the next 4 years to where it changes the way we operate on a world landscape,
It's probably how there's
and
steps.
it
They're
could be
implementing it.
not the world actually ending.
But the way
but-
we know it.
Yeah, and that happens all the time, bro.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. So
Well,
it could just
societies
be-
collapse like every 300 years. America's towards their 300 years.
Yeah,
Coming up on 300 years. I mean, like it could be just the collapse of our society going into a new one, right? So, and you kind of you need something that's bigger than a worldly threat.
yeah,
To do that. You need something from outside of here to kind of force this to happen.
yeah, exactly.
They couldn't force it with COVID. So now let's get something from outside of here to do that. It's
Yeah.
kind of scary. I mean,